All right, so
Mage, you will have to work with me.
Where we left off, we finally got through the main slog at the beginning of this.
Mm-hmm.
There's just one itty-bitty little bit of slog left to do, and it's, like, go meet the side characters.
Okay.
And then it opens up, and then it finally lets you play the fucking game.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know, right? We're only 4 episodes into the show, and we're only now getting to the game proper.
Yeah. Shocking.
Yeah. It has now been a while since this has come out, and there have been people talking about this game and playing this game, and I'm glad, because I really like Digimon, and I think it's a really cool setting and a really cool concept of characters and shit that just doesn't get the love that it used to back in the 90s. Because, you know, back in the 90s, it was, hey, let's have Pokemon, but with a plot.
And for slightly older kids.
Yeah, slightly older kids.
Still for kids, but older.
Oh, no, it's still the tame talking monsters subgenre, which is very clearly for kids. I mean, you have your Digimon, your Pokemon, you have Monster Rancher, you have Jade Cocoon, if anyone remembers that franchise from way back in the day.
I sort of remember the name.
Now you have Yokai Watch and Dinosaur King and all those.
Oh, they're gonna kill.
Yep. So the big reaction here is this woman only seems to exist in the digital world, and yet here she is in the physical world.
Okay.
This is Mireille. She's the character who you would expect to not be a character, because she's the person that runs the nebulous Digimon whatever, and knows all about the Digimon, and can seem to call to you between worlds. And has just given you the plot-convenient reason for why you can buy items in the real world and take it to the digital world.
Okay.
We're just like, yeah, I upgraded your glove, whatever.
Yeah.
It is literally a hand wave.
Mm-hmm.
She is a little cool. She doesn't do a hell of a lot for the plot, and she is never, ever explained. But she does send you on...
What exactly are you?
Yeah. And just hand waves that away, too. Yep. Yeah. She is kind of cool, because she does something that we're not going to touch on in this Let's Play.
Uh-huh.
Which is, she gives you hit list missions.
Oh, okay.
Where it's like,
so you go around annihilating various heads of state?
Kind of. It's more along the lines of, this person's being a douche, go beat the shit out of them.
Oh, well, that's cool, too.
Yeah. How those missions work and why... Oh, one last thing to mention. Some people may have played the game and not seen that character back there. That's the character that delivers you DLC stuff.
Oh, okay.
I pre-ordered it, so the pre-order bonus for this was you get a lot of the black variants, which are just recolors, but fuck it, I wanted them anyway.
Okay.
You get 3 Agumon with purely cosmetic changes. They're wearing the same clothing as the main character, both a male and female version.
That's silly.
And the t-shirt and goggles of the main character from Season 1, Tai.
Mm-hmm. And
you also get a bunch of starting items, which, you don't need them, but they're not game breaking.
Okay.
So what we're seeing right now is the first little quest of the game, which is go around and introduce yourself to the people of Nakano Broadway.
Okay, and why?
Because you're going to be working there, and she wants you to know the layout of the place. I can tell you, 90% of the people you talk to, you just skip over. You don't need to go talk to them. But there's one person we need to talk to.
Her?
Yup. She's back.
Shocking.
Yup. What actually is kind of shocking is that both of the people that you met online and spoke to online and hung out exclusively online live within a 5-block radius of it.
Yeah, I mean, aren't there other weird coincidences that happen too? Like the whole we all knew each other as kids thing, as you said?
That one has more of an explanation to it, and it's actually a pretty solid twist.
Alright.
This is merely we all happen to live not only in the same city, but we hang out in the same parts of the city.
Oh, okay.
And that second part's really the more impressive part, because Tokyo is fucking huge.
Yeah. Well, clearly it's because they have the same interests or something.
Something, whatever. The plot wouldn't happen if this coincidence wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
Which, is fine.
It's for kids. We were just talking about it.
Well,
Granted, this seems to be more for teenagers, but still.
Yeah, this is targeting an older audience, and when you really stop and get down to it, every plot needs some level of convenience to function.
Right.
Like, there is going to be at least one weird coincidence in order to get the ball rolling.
Mm-hmm.
It's a thing.
Which I guess is fine, because sometimes there are just weird coincidences that happen in real life.
Yeah. And it kind of would make sense that if they all knew each other as kids, and they all still lived in Tokyo, which, let's face it, if you live in Japan, chances are you're not going to move out of Tokyo, unless you specifically hate Tokyo.
Right.
And I'm not just saying that as like you're an American, that means you must live in New York kind of thing. It's like, no, statistically, more people are moving into Tokyo than out. The country is so bizarrely compressing. Yeah, it's a weird quirk of Japan, where, like, all of the major businesses are in Tokyo. Everything is in Tokyo, so everyone is just kind of compressing. Yeah, there's Osaka and Sapporo and a couple of others here and there, but, like, for the most part, everything's in Tokyo. It's so absurd.
So what was she getting her freak on for? I tried to read and then it was hard.
Yeah, basically that entire conversation boils down to, oh, you're okay, cool. Oh, you got a job? You're a cyber sleuth? That's cool. I have no idea what that is, but that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, there's this new artist named Jimmy Ken. I'm loving. I want to check him out so bad. And that's about the extent of it. She's excited about a rock star.
I guess that sort of makes sense then.
Yeah.
So she's about as vapid as before.
Yes, she has not yet grown up to be anything less vapid.
Okay.
Like I said, this game is very good at hiding important plot threads in absolute nothing, and that was one of them.
Okay, good to know. Or not know.
Yeah. Haha, Tekken.
Oruru.
Yeah.
Offline Coliseum, huh? Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is not the multiplayer suite. These are optional extra battles you can come back to.
Uh-huh.
But speaking of optional extra stuff, the missions Mirai gives you are just go here, have this fight. And the reason we're not going to do them is because those are what you use the Digifarm for. That place where you can dump your extra Digimon to have them just statically gain EXP.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things you can set them to do is to look for side quests, and it's either the most trivial nonsense like, hey, go find this item somewhere in this level. And when they show up in one-screen levels, it's pretty fucking easy to find their shit.
Uh-huh.
Or it's one of these 30 go beat the shit out of this guy missions.
Okay.
We're not going to fuck around with the Digifarm in this playthrough just because there is an element of random chance to it, and I really don't feel like grinding that.
Okay.
And here we meet two side characters who are completely inconsequential.
Yeah, they don't even have names.
Nope. Well, Sachan has a name.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Except that it's preceded by a title.
Yeah.
Which is apparently more important.
Yeah, the fact that she's a part-timer.
Yep.
They will never have anything interesting happen during the entire course of this game.
Okay. Except that she has kitty ears for no good reason.
Well, it's Japan. That's surprisingly common.
That's just a thing that happens. Okay, I gotcha.
And here is our collectible guy, the Metal Man, who is this sad middle-aged man who hangs out in the mall all day buying collectible medals off of people.
Okay.
Yep.
So I guess that's what that's for.
Yep. It's replacing trading cards, because for some reason they didn't feel like having trading cards. And medals are a thing in Japan. They're usually connected with some kind of arcade game where you can put the medals down and do shit with them.
Uh-huh.
Because I saw in the same place where they were selling trading cards when I was over there, these Pokemon medals. But that's about the extent of that.
Okay.
What we're seeing right here, right now, is one of the things I have a love and hate for in this game, and that's the mission board.
Uh-huh.
Every quest in the entire game, except for those tutorial ones, you have to come back here for.
Oh. Okay. So it's like Final Fantasy XII's side quest system, except that it's, like, included in the main quests, too.
Kind of. But that includes the main quest missions.
Uh-huh.
So there are multiple occasions in this game where somebody's like, I need your help with something. Even though you're right here and what I'm asking you takes place right here, I'm going to make it official and put it up on your board. So go back to the office.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's useless.
Yeah.
Like, I could see going back to the office once you've completed it, because that way you get the paperwork done, but, like, just starting it should happen with the NPC that gives it to you.
Yes! The most ludicrous of these is there's a side quest you can do right before the final quest. One of those, like, hey, this is the raw cutoff point, beyond here is the point of no return. He gives you a quest at the entrance to that dungeon. And then he says, you have
to go back and accept it. Oh my god.
Now, to be fair, at that point in the game, Kyoko here acts as a teleporting system where you can talk to her on the rooftop of that place, and she'll bring you back here, and you can talk to her here, and she'll jump you back to the roof.
Still, why?
But at no point do they actually say that.
Oh.
It's never pointed out until you talk to her. And there's like 15 characters on that roof, so you can easily miss that. Yeah. But getting back to what's on screen right now, they do have a pretty decent excuse for why you never see this character's parent.
Okay.
And that she is an international reporter and she's overseas.
Okay. Well, I wasn't going to ask anyway, but sure, that works.
Yeah. It's a little hand wave for...
Yeah. In case somebody asks.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I've just gotten so used to characters not having parents that I don't even think about it anymore.
Well, one of the interesting things about the Digimon franchise is, at least for the first 3 seasons, they do make a point of, like, pointing out the characters' parents. Or giving some excuse for why these small school children are not, under the supervision of their parents.
Okay.
So there is a precedent in the franchise.
Yeah, alright. That explains why that would matter more in this game than, say, some other RPG.
Yeah. Well, also in a lot of other RPGs, you're either a high schooler or
an adult. Yeah.
Granted, in this you're also a high schooler, so what the fuck am I saying? And Sad Sack's back.
Yep.
And he is honestly surprised. He is honestly surprised that you weren't eaten by that monster. Which, to be fair, you kind of were.
Yeah. But then you got better.
Yeah, you got better for plot reasons. Yeah, again, this is the last little leg of the tutorial, just wrapping up all the loose ends, and then the game opens up, and then you get to do something. And I know I've been saying that for 4 episodes, but
yeah.
Yeah, this is something that a lot of modern JRPGs have, and that's that kind of opening slog of just plot dump and getting you used to all the systems.
Which is an absolutely terrible way of doing your story, but I guess that's just what they do now.
Yeah. I mean, to some extent, it kind of makes sense what they're doing, because it's like, okay, you're dedicating 2 hours out of like a 60-hour game to getting it, so by comparison, it's not that much.
Your game doesn't have to be 60 hours.
This is true. Yeah, I think...
I don't know, I guess I've been spoiled by things like Undertale, where, just about everything counts, but...
Yeah, I think there's a shifting in ideals from, like, the bang for your buck and getting hundreds of hours out of a game.
Yeah.
To, like, having a nice, easily digestible story. But there's also the idea of, like, the difference between the AAA and the indie market.
Yeah.
Because with smaller budgets come smaller games.
Right.
So they tend to focus more on the experience.
Just being really good, yeah.
Yeah, as brief as it can. While the AAAs have the time to sprawl out.
Right.
And asset creation is an expensive thing, so a lot of people want to get multiple uses out of each asset. And this idea of, like, playtime equates to quality, which is egregious, but people with that idea.
Yeah, I used to have that back when I was in high school.
Well, there's also the folks that can't afford that many games. Because when I worked as a retail person, as a salesman for video games, there would be a lot of people, especially parents, that come in. It's like, this game is terrible. My kid played it once and then they never want to play it again. I spent $60 on this. And it's like, it's Portal 2. Everyone loves it.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but I got 6 hours out of a $60 game. It's like,
well, then play it again and do the challenges.
Yeah. But there are people out there that don't have the money for a lot of games. So, like, okay, when they're looking at games, how much entertainment they can get out of it is something to consider.
Right.
So there are the people that want the game they can play for, like, 30, 40, 80 hours. Or the Bethesda juggernauts. It's like, you can play this for 200 hours easy.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think that's kind of a difference. Bethesda, the reason those games are popular is not because they're good, because objectively they're not that great of games. Like, and I know that's probably like horrible for me to say, but they keep doing the same thing over and over, which is fine. Like, I like Skyrim. I like playing Skyrim. But it's kind of the same thing that keeps you coming that the old Atari games did back in the day. You keep doing the same thing over and over because it's mindless fun. I don't play Skyrim for the storyline, and I don't think there's anybody who does.
I actually know a couple. But the Bethesda games are kind of working on a different metric than a lot of things.
Yeah, definitely. They're not the same thing as this. And I should mention that I love JRPGs. It's just that when they slog like a motherfucker just to get hours in, it really bothers me. Because I've played really good JRPGs in the past. And, like, yes, there's a slog, but you don't notice it as much because you're really immersed in the world and you're enjoying it. And the slog is spread through the whole game as opposed to being front-loaded.
This is fair. To this game's defense, they are setting up a lot of different plot threads that all kind of pay out.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, maybe I'll change my tone, but, like...
Yeah.
I'm talking about the trend in general, not specifically this game.
Yeah, and I understand
that. There's so many RPGs out there where they are just like, well, we gotta hit 60 hours. What kind of bullshit can we put in to make that happen?
That is true, but also, to be fair, there aren't too many of those games that get popular. I mean, this I will defend, because while it's not very good at saying it right now, and you don't get that feel right now, you just feel like you're dicking around.
Yeah.
This does have a point to all this, and this does pay off.
Which is admirable.
And the only other one that can come to mind is Persona 4, which has like a 2-hour opening of just like mash that X button to get through all the text and dialogue.
Oh god.
Because it's setting up everything.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, it's like there's a lot of threads that they need to kind of lay down to start off.
Right. I just think that's kind of clumsy.
Yeah,
like, that's my issue with it.
To an extent it is. And yeah, they could do a better job, and it could be a bit more refined.
Yeah. And I think another thing is that because I'm an adult now, I care more about my time. Like, as a kid, I probably wouldn't have had an issue just sitting down and listening to a story for 2 hours. But now I can't get through most RPGs just because, like, it's not even like I don't have a lot of time, it's just that I care more about what I'm doing with my time.
Right.
Which is why I've transferred a lot more from video games into art and other more productive things, like things where I have something to show or a skill to enhance or something like that. RPGs don't really enhance skills very much. Like, once you've figured out how to do resource management, which is a very important skill. Like, I actually learned half my finances from RPGs. But, like, resource management and planning are what you learn in RPGs, but there's a plateau once you've played so many of them that you're just not learning anything new.
Yeah.
So there's not as much of a point to play them.
Man.
So they've got to have a really good storyline to compensate.
Yeah, and a lot of them do have pretty good storylines. It's just they're not always well told.
Right.
I mean, you have the Final Fantasy 13 problem of a good story poorly told.
Yeah. Yeah, and at least 13, like, I think the reason that I was able to get, well, there were two reasons I got through 13 without too much of a problem. The first reason, of course, was because I was playing it with my brother around, so we could talk during it and, like, give feedback and say things about it. So that was more enjoyable. But the other reason is because there's something going on at all times. even when they are doing explanations of things, you're running around more or less. So you're not just watching 2 hours of these characters standing around saying words like is happening on the screen right now.
Yeah, well, the other problem that this game has is it was designed for the Vita first. So it does have a lot of limitations in what it can do.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's a raw port. They didn't do anything to change it. And this is one of the other problems I have, and this is why we are sitting through a lot of this footage that has graphical glitches and stuff.
Yeah.
I've since figured out what was the problem and have fixed it, but like this last chunk of videos here is going to still have glitches. Now, a lot of people out there's a thing called rotating your saves, where you save in a different slot every time, so if you have to go back for some reason, you can do it easily.
Yeah.
This game has 3 save slots.
Uh-huh.
On a PlayStation 4 game. There is no excuse.
Yeah.
Other than it was a raw port of a portable game.
Yep, and that happens.
Yeah.
I
do think it's rather egregious that when they ported it, they didn't unlock the saving, so it was no longer the in-engine save, and they just didn't use the PlayStation memory, where it has so much more space, and you could have all the fucking save slots you want.
Yeah, definitely.
But, can't have everything.
Nope.
Anyway, the plot going on right now is our mysterious girl from the hospital showed up, said her name is Yuko, she is with the company that we're investigating, and her father has gone missing. Go find him.
Alright.
And after a little bit of digging, our boss found that, hey, his account has been hacked in Eden. Go figure that shit out.
Okay.
So now
you get to investigate.
Yep, and I actually do really like this, because even when you don't get the right answer, you do get a lot of little, it's a mechanic that encourages you to talk to all the NPCs, which in a lot of modern RPGs, there really isn't a reason to anymore.
Yeah, not unless you just want to explore the entire world.
Yeah.
Which sometimes I do, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a good external reward for it.
Yeah. The one thing I have bad to say about this is more often than not, you can kind of see a line of the people with the little locks over their head, and it's almost always the furthest person away.
Oh, okay.
It's never hidden in.
Yeah.
The other mix to that is once you get the answer you want, the rest of them disappear. So there's clearly a one correct answer. Now, late in the game, and I mean pretty late in the game, there is a couple of moments where you have these encounters where you've gathered up clues, and if you give the correct answer to the question they ask, you skip a tough fight.
Oh, okay. Well, that's neat.
Yeah. And this game, more than any other RPG I've ever played, you plateau in strength. So there is a point where you cannot get any stronger, but the encounters will continue to get tougher. Yeah, and I'm giving everyone a chance to get a good look at our entire team here, and also doing a little team management. Okay. I think I initially meant to cut this out, but this gives us a chance to actually talk about all the people we have on this.
Yeah.
So right now in the team, I put Wolfblade and Sal on the team, and then realized these are 2 people we don't actually personally know, so I swapped them out pretty quick.
Okay.
The reason these characters have those names begins and ends with those 2 artists are relatively popular, and they are known for drawing porn of those characters.
Yeah.
So that's about all I have to say about that. If you're into either of those characters, feel free to look those artists up. If you're not, you have names to avoid.
I do respect Wolfblade a lot. Just when shit went down various times on FA, and eventually he just disappeared from FA. I think he used to be an admin, actually. Really high up. But he was probably the main voice of reason in most cases. And the reason he left was because he was just sick of it all. So he went mostly to Ink Bunny, I think.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me, because a lot of the stuff he used to post on FA was in the category of things that got banned.
Yeah.
Which is what surprised me with hearing he was high up. And I can see why he got a lot of... why he would get fed up with all of it, because...
Oh, yeah.
Those people got shit on harder than any other group within the community I've ever seen.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah,
like,
now
crazy bad.
There's an argument to be made on why they got shit on, and I'm not going to get into it because that's a discussion for a different day and a different show.
You think? Because,
yeah.
I don't know, I think that would actually be topical, but I don't know. We can discuss it offline, I guess.
Yeah, we'll discuss the merits of it.
Yeah, and maybe we'll come back to it, maybe we won't. If we don't, we'll give you an explanation for why.
Yeah, well, the explanation for why I'm tentative about it is it's kind of a minefield of a lot of different things for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, it's a furry minefield, though, so it's relevant. I don't know. We can talk about it later.
We'll come back to that. We'll come back to that. We have plenty of other characters to talk about.
Yeah, for sure. But I did want to sing praises of Wolfblade because just about everything he's ever said has been very logicked out and reasonable.
Okay, cool.
So I do know him to some extent. I just don't know him personally is all.
So we have two voices of reason on this team, the other being Technicolor Pie.
Yeah.
She, I don't think, draws anything adult-oriented, so I highly encourage everyone listening to this to go check out some of her stuff if you haven't already.
Mage. Sometimes she draws butts.
Okay, yeah. She's very...
Of course, they're goofy cartoon butts.
Yeah, she's very much a cartoonist.
Yes.
She's a cartoonist, and she pokes a lot of fun at the community and does a lot of satire of the community itself.
Yeah. I mean, she's not always right, but, like, she's good at poking to the heart of an issue.
Yeah, she's very good at getting to the heart of the issue, and she is very often a voice of reason. Not always correct reasoning.
Yeah, but you know why she says something, and you can see the logic behind it.
Yeah, it's... She avoids a lot of knee-jerk reactions to things.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, definitely.
Which is very commendable in any online community, because so much of the internet is just knee-jerk reactions.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't even tell you how many stories I've heard of people's lives become living hells, or like their lives getting ruined because of a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah, well, I mean, look at that girl whose dad did the whole consequences will never be the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember her name, but a lot of people would probably know who that is because that's outside of the furry community and became a huge meme. But
yeah, calling the internet police on people.
Yeah, exactly.
That guy.
Yep. So that was entirely knee-jerk reactions, and look what that got him.
Yeah, true. But I was thinking more along the lines of Gamergate.
Oh yeah, that happened too.
Like that entire thing.
They have a legitimate grievance, but holy shit, did they bungle that?
Yeah, like I got about like 1 day of reading anything about it before I decided, you know what? This entire thing, I'm gonna put it in a box and avoid it.
Yeah. Actually, as kind of an extension, a lot of the gender wars stuff going on right now suffers from that, which I guess is kind of what we're talking about. There's just a ton of it. But, like, that's just a microcosm of the issues going on right now with just general knee-jerk reactions about everything. Yeah. Because, like, if you say one thing that's anti any side, you'll be seen as totally pro the other side. And it's like, dude, fuck off. Yeah. Sometimes people can have nuanced opinions.
Because, I mean, on the one side of it, you have the social justice warriors who are just looking for reasons to be offended.
Yes.
And on the other side, you have misogynists and racists looking for a shield to excuse their horrible behavior. And it's just like, both of you shut the fuck up!
How about you let the reasonable people have control of the reins again?
Yeah, and the part that's depressing about all this is so often these vocal morons will hijack an actual, like, important or reasonable cause.
Yeah.
And just completely derail it and devalue it, almost to the extent where it's like, are you on the other team as a double agent? The fuck are you doing?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what the whole anti-political correctness thing is about right now, is those people are reacting harshly to what is a harsh reaction already with political correctness. So, like, the way I see it, political correctness is a tool, and you can use that tool well, and you can use it poorly. Yeah. Using it well is not being a fucking racist. Using it poorly is, like, going out of your way to call people racist who aren't racist, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think we're getting a little political here, but
yeah,
it's general.
yeah, it's broad strokes. We're not getting specific enough for people to hate on us.